Gina Reinhart fears Australia has become inactive in its relationship with China and called for far greater defence spending in an exclusive interview with Sky News Australia. Billionaire mining magnate Gina Reinhart has warned Australia needs to desperately boost military funding and reduce red tape to make the country more self-sufficient. In a rare television interview with Sky News host Andrew Bolt, Ms. Reinhart shares her thoughts on worsening diplomatic tensions with China, the impact of feeble Russian sanctions, and the need to bolster Australia's defence industries. "We need self-sufficiency in medicines. We need self-sufficiency in defence materials," she said. "We desperately need, in my view, a refocus on our federal budgets to include more for defence. And a lessening of, so we can see more self-sufficiency in medicines, in defence supplies and other things this country needs, including mining." Watch the full interview with Sky News Australia host Andrew Bolt here. Mining mogul Gina Reinhart said Australia desperately needs to be self-sufficient in terms of defence and manufacturing. Picture. Stream more national news live and on demand with Flash, Australia's biggest news streaming service. New to Flash? Try 1 month free now. The Hancock prospecting mining mogul, who commands an estimated net worth of $31 billion, warned Australia's growing tensions with China were damaging export markets. "China is led by terribly intelligent people, and they do see things at a further distance and more in the future than what we do," she said. "Australia is not the only country where there is iron, ore and coal, and they are going all over the world to open up not only more iron, ore and coal mines, but rare earths. And we have been inactive in relation to these very critical matters." Ms. Reinhart also touched on US sanctions against Russia, arguing they were too weak and should have netted the country's lucrative fuel export sector. "Done a lot of green stuff to his country. Fuel prices at the petrol pump are already rising in his country and ditto energy costs," she said. "So what happened when started his somewhat feeble sanctions is the main one he should have been targeting against Russia is of course fuel. And he didn't because of the rise in the cost at the petrol pump through his green policies. The rise in cost of electricity." Ms. Reinhart also weighed into the Adani project in the Galilee Basin, arguing Australia's coal exports could help provide energy to millions of people in India. "We should be thinking about the hundreds of millions of people living without electricity in India, and coal helps them to have that," she said. "Their own coal is much dirtier than ours, and I think on friendly terms with a friendly country, we should be thinking of doing exports, whether it's to India or other friendly countries." Australia began diversifying its key export markets across Asia after China started levelling massive tariffs and trade restrictions on Aussie coal, beef, barley and other major industries. Ms. Reinhart welcomed the Adani coal project in the Galilee Basin. Picture, supplied. In November 2020, Beijing instructed its primary importers to move away from Australian coal, leading to a 10% decrease in two-way trade of the commodity in the first 8 months of 2021. While India moved to fill the market, increasing its import of Australian coal by 503% year-on-year, China has instead decreased its purchases of Australian iron ore by 3%. Ms. Reinhart said the government needed to be concerned about China developing massive coal deposits in Africa, as it threatened Australian markets. "Australia should be very mindful of this. We really depend on our mining industry, and if a lot of the markets were closed, we would be a different country," she said. "We need our mining industry for our defence, for our police, for our emergency services, our kindergartens, our hospitals and healthcare, you name it. We really are dependent on our mining industry."